Let's talk about NFTs because I became the coolest dad in the world when I gifted my 17-year-old an NFT. I'm telling you, Ben, I could have given her a Porsche and it wouldn't have been as cool. And so it showed me that unlocks the brain in such a way. I think back in the day, the gateway drug was, well, it was Bitcoin. And then it was stable coins. Because like you said, look, you can earn 20% over here. That gets my attention. But now the NFT seems to be pulling people in from all over the world into this space. It's a beautiful thing. What do you see in the NFT space now? What do you see it becoming in the future? What do you see as the psychology of what's actually happening here? I've gone kind of deep to try to understand, is it the social digital flexing? Is it the provenance? Is it the proof of ownership? Like what's happening here? But clearly something's happening. Eminem just bought a Bored Ape. There's things happening here. So what do you see?
Yeah, I do see that fundamentally this is something extremely powerful, because it's just that creative people or builders get to share with their users and community ideas and economic upside unconstrained by any intermediary for the first time. So we've had money, but the different digital forms of money have been always a lot more polarizing to some people, especially the creative people. But now the art part is the thing that a lot of, let's say, creative people can brag about, can finally test things out with, and essentially create new lives with, because a lot of these creative people are shifting from lives where they could barely make ends meet to then having millions of dollars in this new economy. And so, of course, there are, as you look at the entire space, a lot of other things for the new generation, this expression that you could not get anywhere else. For the creative generation, new ideas for which they get a lot of money. And at the end of the day, like, you live in a world where money can be used, and you might think that the creativity is extremely useful and so forth, but you sort of get this rating for your creativity when someone buys something for you. It's like the best test, real world test, validation for what you can do as a milestone in your trajectory. And this is just a starting point. I do think that NFTs will change this entire creative space, just because up until this point, you've had everything built around the companies that own basically everything, both the intellectual property and the data and the communities. And you barely made like a few shekels for everything you've built on average. I'm not discussing about the extremes and so forth, but with in this new world, you essentially have digital property rights to what you're building. This is something so fundamental that it's like a transition from communism or feudalism, where you basically had a lot of stuff, but you did not own it. You owning stuff was not even a concept you would think about, and so forth. Now you own this, you own the data, you start building new communities. And the interesting thing is, you probably know about this idea of 1,000 true fans.
I do, actually. I had Kevin Kelly in my studio explain it to me. But tell us about it, because it's a great concept.
And this idea was that you in the era of the internet, you don't need millions of people in your community. You only need 1,000 true fans to be in your community. And for them, you can build stuff and collaborate with and share these ideas and economic upside. And this new variation of this is that, frankly, you don't need more than 100 true fans in this new Web3 economy. And if you have 100 true fans, with them, you can build this new community. You can exchange the ideas. You can sort of build an empire, micro empire at first, but to the degree that your ideas are valuable and you want to move forward and you want to get a lot of feedback on that, There has never been a better time to be alive and test this out. And of course, this is all I'm describing right now is what's happening literally as we speak, right? It's not even discussing what will happen over 3 years, over 5 years. How will these people from all over the world get unlocked to finally stop focusing on boring things and start focusing on something they truly care about? This more than anything, I think will be the realignment function of NFTs. Of course, we'll discover a lot of new creative art. Of course, a lot of the current version of NFTs will disappear beyond the hype. But the most fascinating thing that will remain is that this new generation will enter a new space, will create this new space where they create new ideas, get a lot of rewards for them, can share the rewards and ideas with the world. And that's simply a significantly better world to live in, whether you're a creative or one of the people who buys these creative ideas, or just one of the people who plays around to discover what's happening. And so just the metaverse is this idea taken to its natural conclusion, where essentially in the metaverse, you'll have this new reality where for the first time, you'll see that digital things can be valued much higher than physical things, significantly more valuable and so forth. There's some tricky things there. I mean, a lot of excitement, a lot of positive experience, but also some super tricky things that we should be very careful with, because these things can go both ways.